Unknown, what do you know about the unknown? Unknown, what you know about?
Okay, my name is G.O.L.D or G.O.L.D. I'm a producer, rapper, from South London originally, but I get around, so yeah. Yeah, I do a bit in the side of like managing and music business, and also delve a lot into technology or emerging technology, if you want to call it that. But yeah, working with Air Clips, Jimmy Screech, Schiffer Dan, Jay Profit, the Underdog team, what was the old label what Air Clips was dealing with before it became Vape Life. One Take Entertainment was something that we were doing for many years. Before that, I was involved in the scene, learned a lot about like music business and stuff like that. So I've always been around. I'm like one of those guys that's sort of the fly on the wall guy. I'm trying to say like I'm around and people who know me know, innit? And that's it really.
People that know you know.
Yeah.
How can they know when you got your face fully covered?
Yeah, exactly. That's it. If you know, innit? Yeah. Like I'm sure people like MF Doom, who obviously I'm a big fan of as well. People knew who MF Doom was. Like it's only some people that didn't know who MF Doom. Maybe it's a mystery, but if you want to find out, you got to do the research, innit? That's it.
So is there a particular reason why you're now covering your face?
A few reasons, to be honest. I think first of all, like I took a little bit of a break from music for a while, so I wasn't making any music. Like I was doing other things in life, and coming back to music, I kind of felt like I don't need to be like I am this guy. Hey, it's me. You know what I'm trying to say to you? I just make good music and put it out, innit? Like what I feel is good music, and put out the vibrations into the world, and people like it. They like it, innit? Like it's not really about who I am, or what my face looks like or whatever. And we know that we're seeing a lot more of this, like kind of obviously happening. I know you got like the drill guys who are mostly doing it because they're saying whatever they're saying or doing whatever they're doing. They don't want their face to be seen for certain other purposes. Maybe it's because of that a little bit for me as well. But in the end of the day, I kind of find that you don't need, like 9 times out of 10 back in the day, we didn't need to have to, we was listening to the radio. We didn't have to see the artist. We didn't have to go, oh, the artist got bling bling, the artist is driving a car, whatever. We don't have to all of that. It's just good. Listen to the music. If you like it, you like it. You don't, you don't. Yeah. So yeah, there's that. And then there's also like the fact that I just become a very private person, I think, over time, innit? So I think obviously displaying that as well, that, as part of what I'm doing now, again, I don't need to be jumping up in everybody's chats and everybody's faces and, hey, it's me, that's it.
How is all of that affecting the music industry now? Because now it seems like people are no longer listening with their ears.
Yeah, it's like it's become almost like you got lots of different facets to it, but it's become like a popularity contest of who looks like the musician, who looks the best, or who looks like they're rich and famous, or who can put their face in the video or in the photos with like the first tune I put out, like actually officially as like a solo artist was only like a year, 2 years ago, 2023. And the first tune I put out is a tune called No Photos. Yeah. And the tune is about literally what I just said. Like I'm everywhere. Like if you know who I am, you know me, right? Like I've been everywhere. I've been around the game for a minute, right? But I don't need to jump in no photos. I don't need to make a big hype, right? And that's what I think has happened today, is that today we're using, the internet has obviously connected everybody, right? Which is a good thing because people can communicate better. But at the same time, it's become this thing of like who has the best image. The guy, like I said, with the biggest chain, the guy who's got the most gal in his video, the guy who's driving the Lambo. Like, none of that doesn't mean nothing to somebody who just wants to listen to good music, innit? Or just wants to make good music, right? So none of that matters in the end of the day, right? It's just like the internet is feeding us constant imagery. It should look like this. You should do it like this. This is the next big thing. Like, Yeah, like music doesn't have any like you can paint your own vision with music, with lyrics, yeah, and with music itself. So you can close your eyes and envision whatever you feel from that music. Like why do I need to be everywhere like showing people everything or do all this visual stuff? And that's what's changed, right? It's like that now we've got that connection of the internet. People are just concentrated on the visual, the visual, the visual all the time. And that is because the visual does captivate us. Like just as humans, we see something and it might be out of the ordinary, it might be out of the blue, it might be something very big or small or funny color or whatever. It's fascinating and it grabs our attention. So, it's like we say with television or television, right? Yeah, right. It's grabbing your attention constantly. When they put on adverts, they want to make the advert look like something's happening, right? But the truth of the matter is like the thing's either happening like that or it's not. So I prefer to kind of like look at it as though some of what we've been given today or what we're fed today is like railroading people away from listening to the actual music and being more concerned with stuff like, oh, that brother's got so and so much numbers on the video, or like I said, he's got this and that in the video, or whatever. I don't care about none of that shit. I don't like any artist that I listen to is because the music is good. It's nothing to do with what they look like or what their numbers look like or nothing like that. And I don't think anybody should be judging people off of that at all. Stupidness. Like anyone can, we're here, we're filming right now, yeah, right. Like if you're in the room, it is a much different experience than you watching it on YouTube. So when you're now watching it online or on YouTube or wherever it is, you're not seeing the work that goes into it. You're not seeing the behind the scenes, yeah? What used to be fun for us when we was kids was being able to see behind the scenes. And I think that seeing behind the scenes has become so normal now. It's like people want all of it. They want to see the film, they want to see the actors' interviews, they want to see behind the scenes, they want everything straight away. No value. Doesn't give any value to people if they just can get everything. Like, because then it's just super accessible. Like, yeah. That's it. And I don't want to rant about it, but yeah.
Well, you just did rant about
I
it.
did, yeah, exactly.
That was great. So are you saying that sound doesn't catch us anymore in the way that it used to? So let me give you an example. So imagine you're walking down the street, minding your own business. You're going to the post office, the local little shop, whatever, to buy a loaf of bread, and you hear a gunshot in the distance, or 2 roads down or whatever, but you can clearly hear it. Are you saying that's not going to catch your attention?
Oh no, it most definitely will. Sound has to catch your attention because you're made up of sound. Like you're made up of vibrations. We call it vibrations, don't we? Right? Vibrating sound waves. Like we are just vibrating at a very, very, very high frequency. That's why we have the physical plane. Yeah, right. Like so, everything is sound. Yeah, you're gonna always react to sound. Like no matter what. But I would say that in that, looking at it from that context, yeah, that sometimes I think the visual can become overstimulating. Do you understand, right? So, it's I think it's about having a good balance of the two, yeah. And when bad sound is bad sound, bad visual is bad visual, and it's being able to discern between the two. But I think, as I said, we're flooded with so much frequencies now, both sound and visual, yeah. And the average person doesn't have that level of discernment anymore.
I always used to say to people, if you want to find out what music is good, close your eyes, don't watch the video.
Facts.
And that's when you could tell. Because there are so many artists that basically have the budgets that can put a lot of money behind their videos, and they can blow up helicopters and whatever else, or at least use AI to make it look that way. And it disguises the fact that some of these people are actually not very good artists.
Fact.
Right? And we talk about how the youth are kind of lost because they've been so brainwashed and reprogrammed by the record labels and the industry and whatever to believe that something is good when really we know it's not. So today's youth's heroes would be a joke to us back in the days.
Of course, yeah.
So is there a way back? Do we even need to care if there's a way back, or do we just feed ourselves of the things that we like and ignore what's going on, or do we embrace it? What's your take on all of that?
I don't think I wouldn't like to describe it as a way back, because a way back is not progressive, it's regressive, yeah?
Is it though?
It is, because
Think about what you're saying, bro.
space
Sometimes
is
you always hear
constantly moving forward.
right,
You know,
but how many times do you hear you got to
Yeah.
take a few steps back to go forward?
Yeah. Like, I mean, when I say like going back, I mean you can't turn back time
Yeah,
necessarily.
but that's not what I was saying. Is
But
there a way back, as in back to sensibility?
back to sensibility. Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, what I think here is that it's really how things are disseminated, yeah, right? More than it is, let's say, way back, right? It's what is progressive, yeah, and what isn't progressive, and it's more dropping off the stuff that is regressive, as I said, yeah, and showing the youths and just people in general, society in general, how there is a way forward in which people can move forward better, like in a better light, and think about more. I don't know whether I want to say more being, more in touch with humanity or other humans, and just knowing what is negative energy and what is positive energy, what's going to be a plus. And as you said, sometimes you do, because there's a balance in it. You need to be able to take away sometimes to add on, yeah? And like you said, sometimes you need to kind of go back a bit, yeah, to be able to go forward. But I think it is more about people understanding the forward momentum or the progressive steps, right? Because again, as we just said, we're flooded by negativity all day. So who's out here trying to tell people this is how we can go forward still? And that's how we leave the negativity behind, in the end of the day. Without going forward, then you just go back and back and back and back, and you're just constantly mulling over old news, innit? You don't have to say to you, so to speak. So I think it's a balance of the two, definitely 100%, because that's just how things are, that's nature. But I think we should be concentrated on showing these youths and showing these people how there is a more progressive way, so to speak. And I mean, this is generalization, isn't it, that we're both doing here, innit? Because this could be, this could be applied differently to different situations, isn't it, in the end of the day.
Progression is measured differently by different people. But today, it seems like progression is measured by what material you have, what material value you have. Your clothes, your money, your cars, your girls, your whatever. For artists, what do you think progression is?
I think for artists in particular, yeah, progression is you being able to freely express your art in the way that you
Even
want
if it
to.
means making no money?
I was going to come to that next, right? So being able to freely express your art, and then next being able to, create, whether it's a supplemental income or being able to survive, long term, full time, from your art. I think that those two things are the start of a progressive, kind of future for artists. And then adding on to that, like, I would say that the next thing is not so much about the material possessions, but it's, are you able to feed yourself, innit? Like I said, are you able to live off of it? Are you able to pay your rent, without putting out negative energy as well, And some people, like, because we have this a lot with hip hop, obviously, like, people are just talking about their experiences. Like, the rappers, the MCs are almost like, historians, or like, the town criers or the news tellers, or, so they're telling what's going on. They're speaking about their experiences. They might be speaking about what they've seen, so on and so forth. That doesn't make it negative. I think what makes it negative is when a person continues to put on a particular stereotype, even though that they know they've moved on from it. Yeah, right. That is not progressive, because what you're doing is you're just keeping a negative energy around you. You're keeping a negativity around you. You're not speaking on things from a third person. You're acting as though you're still out here doing all, or you have to be out here doing all kind of madness, right? It's just stupidness, isn't it? Like, and don't get me wrong, like people get caught up as well, innit? Because people move on, innit? That, like, I know a lot of men that have, made significant dough rapping or producing or whatever, and they're putting out kind of like, we could say, negative connotation music, or just talking about what's going on. But then they keep the same people around them. They keep the people that don't have that progressive mentality, or are thinking about, how do we go to something new? We don't need to do this anymore. We don't need to be, doing certain things or whatever, or involving ourselves in certain things, or even speaking on record about certain things. How do we go to the next step? And then obviously from the artist perspective as well, sometimes it's the fans, isn't it? The fans can keep the artist doing that same thing over and over. Because, if yesterday you come out, you talk about killing, drugs, whatever, and that's what's selling your music, and then tomorrow you come out and you're talking about rainbows and unicorns, right? Your fan base gonna drop off, innit? Like, let's be honest, right? But I think, again, progression is part of growth, is it? Or growth is part of progression, right? So you need to, if you're gonna want to come out and talk about rainbows and unicorns tomorrow, my guy, right? Then you need to understand that you need to grow that fan base of people who are going to listen to you speaking about rainbows and unicorns. Not start saying, oh, because my bills didn't get paid this month. If your bills didn't get paid this month, that's on you. Do you understand? It's not, hey, I'm just going to rap about negativity so I get the fans back and I can pay my bills this month. You should have lined up the thing before you even went to go and speak about rainbows and unicorns, right? But my whole point over that is, like I said to you, like, for artists to be progressive, I think, or where artists can feel that they're progressive, is that they've been able to take their artistry to the next level, whilst also taking their standard of living and the people around them, their family maybe standard of living, to the next level. And then, you just keep going up and up and up from there. No one's not saying you can't revisit on your album 5 tune was talking about the man them or whatever, or whatever you did on road or whatever, right? Or what's going on road. But come on, bruv, like, I don't want to listen to like 30 albums of you telling me about what's going on road, bruv. You understand? Because everyone's like I said, everyone's Tony Montana until they're really a political prisoner, bruv. And then man are saying, yeah, free my man, knowing that my man did some idiot thing, which not even the stupidest of children is not even gonna go and do that same thing what my man went and did. You understand? So use your brain, in it. Like, you got to say, it's just simple. I get it that, I've been there and I get it, right? But man got to grow out of that mentality. You get to say, because all it does is it makes you, your people, and everyone around you, and then the rest of the culture just look like this is what it is. And we already know that the forces outside of the culture that want to control the culture want that to happen for the culture. Yeah. So use your brain, innit? And that's just it, innit?
At this point, can I just take a second to promote my new single, Rainbows and Unicorns? I'm listening to you talking and you're making a lot of sense. But you walked in here and you got a balaclava on and you got sunglasses on in a dark room, right? And I don't know what you look like, so I don't know who I'm actually listening to. Yeah, I just know the name. So what I'm asking is, now the world or whoever's watching this gets the opportunity to hear you speaking, why should they take your words as any kind of informative viewpoint that needs to be checked?
I mean, they don't have to. They don't have to. I don't expect anybody to.
But you're making sense, so I feel it would be good for them to.
But
I guess what I'm trying to ask is your background. Why they should pay attention, because you got a background.
All right, so I've been out here. I've done certain things in it, yeah, like street stuff, right? Like out in the streets, right? In a certain point in my life, right, I was doing this music thing at a very young age, right? I started doing rapping when I was about 9, 10, and I'm at the end of my 30s, let's say, right? And this whole thing of like, big man for leave over and met the youths, them coming, whatever, I know a lot of people that are doing this thing, that do this thing way better than some of these youths out here, and know a lot more, but it's the experience also gives you a certain amount of wisdom, as we always know, right? And that experience can happen in a short space of time. You could have a 20-year-old that comes in here and he's had a rougher or a different or whatever experience that I'm going to learn from. But we just got to understand that we're all learning from each other all the time, innit? So if people want to listen, they can listen and say, yo, this brother just chatting rubbish. My man went up, Blade, why you have this brother on the show, man? He's just talking a load of rubbish. Forget what they always mask up, brother. See all of that rubbish in the comments, right? But like, again, people need to learn to, like I said before, disseminate, what makes sense and what don't make sense. And that's how I tend to live my life. Like, I make sense of what the signs that the universe shows me, and I make sense of what things I hear other people say or do, and I make a judgment or a decision based on that. But as you said, with my background, I've been out here, I've done my time in the streets, I've done my time in the studio. I've learnt sound engineering and that at a very young age. A lot of my family was around in the industry, and I never wanted to be a part of the industry because it got to a point where I understood the underside of it so much. It was like, nah, this is a whole rigged game. So I wanted to do it myself, but then at the time, as I said, I got caught up. I got caught up in maybe the hype or the streets or just being able to feed myself, in it, right? And that led to me doing a very short stint in jail. So I'm not out here to be like, man's been in jail bare times, man was in this wing, blah, blah, blah. Forget all of that, right? Because that's not progressive, again, for me, right? To be talking about that. So I did that little bit of time. What I learned from that little bit of time in jail was that jail was a waste of time and money, because I weren't making no money in jail, even though I had money that I'd put away, I weren't making money in jail, and time was just being wasted. I wasn't doing anything constructive in there, So again, I came out and I was like, I don't really want to go back to jail, not because I'm scared to go back to jail, because I go back to jail for my own principles. People have their principles that they will do certain things for, right? I'll do certain things for my pick-me, innit, right? So, if I end up back in jail, I'm not scared to go to jail. But would it be logical for me to put myself in a position to make it more probable for me to go back to jail? No. Later on, when I had my first youth, I said to myself, no, I can't put myself back in that position. So now I started looking into how I could set myself up in life where I don't end up back into those positions. And again, I still was doing all kind of madness on the side and rare at the same time, which almost got me caught back up again. But moving on from that, I decided like I wanted to just do something different in it, right? And I've always been into like computing and stuff like that. So I got into telecoms, and I was working in telecoms for a minute. And then from that, I kind of I learned about a new thing that was going on from being in that space and in just being online and knowing how, because I've been using the internet. Built my first computer at like 10 years old. Should I say I've been using the internet forever. So I understand how computers work. And when I found out about, like Bitcoin in particular, like I realized that there's a way that people are thinking about too much small things sometimes. We're thinking about how we want to get out of the trap, but no one's actually trying to build a way out of the trap. And that's kind of a bit of background that got me to kind of where I am. Because, I at the moment I found out about like Bitcoin and stuff, I didn't really understand it. It took me a couple of years to understand it. But then once I really understood it, I kind of just dove into it. And that led me out of doing certain things that I was doing, led me into being able to be a self-sovereign person. And, and I'm trying to impart that knowledge to others in some way. So So yeah, like I've been around. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not just a guy that's I'm gonna rap and rap and rap and whatever. Like, you know what I'm trying to say. So I look at things from different angles, isn't it? So again, it's not saying that anybody should listen to me, but I've had a lot of experience doing a lot of different things and been in a lot of spaces and been where some of these youths are now. So it's like I get it, innit? But you can rise above all of that stuff. And nowadays, where things are heading, you can do it in a way where you can do it freely, as long as you're not being a bad actor. You know what I'm trying to say to you? As long as you're not trying to hurt other people, innit? Like, have you ever heard the people talk about like common law, innit? Yeah, right. Common law is, no stealing, no harm. You know what I'm trying to say? No killing. Yeah. Why were those things common law? Why are those three things common law? Because those are the things that mess up society, innit?
What is your involvement in ghostwriters?
I'm the ghost of the ghostwriters, I like to say all the time. Being involved with the ghostwriters, I was very much front line. And if you know about the ghostwriters, then you done seen my face already. Yeah. You done seen my face already, yeah? So that's why I say whoever knows will know, innit?
So have you got any projects coming out at the moment? I understand you're doing something with Eclipse.
Yeah, so I'm working on multiple things with Clips because Clips is like on it 24/7, right? So me and Clips have always worked together for a very long time. We've done singles, we've done projects together. The first project that we actually put out was just me and him. Was the Golden Clips EP that we put out last year, and we're planning to follow up on that. And also, there's a few other projects that we're working on, like more in the Bitcoin space. Aside from that, I got an EP called Just Jewels coming out, in the month of February, which we're in now. So you'll probably be watching this after it's out, but you could go and look that up. And then I have another project with Acme Beats called Distributed Revolution, and that one's also going to be coming out just before the April kind of period. So a few different projects. Plus my own kind of like solo project as well that I've kind of self-produced, and along with Jimmy Screech as well, put a lot of production into that as well. So those projects will be the ones that will be coming out prior to summer. Anything else, I suppose you just got to follow me and find out, innit?
You started from pretty early, like in your teens, you got qualifications in...
So I got a qualification in intermediate qualification in sound engineering, and I knew about video editing as well. So I've used wipers and all of that stuff as well, right? Like reel to reels. That was kind of like my education. And just before I went to G.O.L.D, like funnily enough, like I got a big up, Paul from Greenwich Community College, who was my teacher, and that guy, like, he literally vouched for me. Like, man went to jail. I went to jail, but I had done so much already in the course, because this was like a college course that I took later on. And I went to jail, and dude passed me for like music business. He passed me for, the studio engineering, everything. Like, so I got all of the qualifications afterwards. So first I got the City and Guilds Intermediate, and that was at a place called PMA in Deptford. Like, and I got a big up to Steve and Sandra, because they was teaching the whole hood how to do sound engineering and how music business, PROs, and everything like that worked. So I did that at a young age, then moved on, like I said, to college. But by the time I got to college, like I said, I already knew the whole thing, to the point that I went jail within the first, couple months of me starting college. And, the teacher gave me the qualification anyway, because I already done everything. Like, the whole coursework was done. So yeah, I think it's a different experience now. Now you just, hey, I remember when Cubase VST come out. I went, oh my God, the sounds are in the computer. Like, I should have said to you. So now it's completely different. People just pick up their phone and they make an album.
You did a one take here earlier, which I'm looking forward to showing the world, because I thought it was dope.
Thank you.
But me and you, like, we need to get on the mic and have a little battle to see who's gonna keep that name One Take.
Oh yeah.
So you let me know when you're ready to battle, bro. I'm up for it whenever.
Yeah. We
want to go now?
We have to do one take round table.
Should we go now?
No, we ain't going down. No, in the middle of the interview. No.
Do you want to tell us about your one take?
So yeah,
Not the one take you perform, but your business.
yeah,
One take.
so One Take Entertainment, that was like a small talent development label that we started between me and my close long-time friend Jay Prophet. And we started that kind of really, it was just like we were recording and we were putting stuff together, to try and like, produce for each other and work with each other. And then like, man them started coming over and like jumping on the tunes and stuff like that. And then it was like, hey, we've got all the studio equipment here. Let's like kind of create a label around this. Let's create we'd had the studio for a minute. So it's like, let's create, like a label, but let's look at it the same way that the old school labels did. And let's bring these artists in. Let's help them to hone and develop their talent and then record for them, mix for them, master for them, and get them to put out music. And it didn't work out as we quite expected because, people were like, taking the mic. And like I said, we was into other things. We were doing other stuff as well. But basically, we got like really annoyed with people that would come through and they want to punch stuff in all the time. Like, let me punch it in. Hey, I'm going to record this, but let me punch it in. And they're like, then the next word out of their mouth is, I'm the best MC, right? And they're punching in. And we're just like, bro, we haven't got a problem with you punching in, but you should try and actually perform it in one take because that's what we're used to. That's what we grew up doing, right? We write the stuff, we practice it, we learn it, then we go in the studio and we perform it, yeah? Till we get the best take of it, right? So that's how the name One Take came about because we were like, we're going to call it One Take Studios, I think. No, it was called Oven Studios at the time because it was so hot in there, right? So we used to call it Oven Studios. But we was like, we're going to call it One Take. And it was like One Take Studio, One Take Records. And then it was like One Take Entertainment because we ain't just focused on people coming in and just recording. Like, it's not just about music. There's all these other ideas that we were having, like gaming and all of these things. And this was long before YouTube, right? Well, not long, probably about a year or two before YouTube. So YouTube now comes about and it's like, yeah, we can really expand all of this kind of stuff. But as I said, like, people come and they go sometimes. Like you set up stuff and you want to turn it in, me and you were speaking earlier about, you having these conversations with people where it's like, hey, we should all get together and we should all do this. And then you say that and tomorrow you turn up, you got your hard hat and boots on, bruv, and nobody's around. Nobody wants to come and build the thing after all of the talk they was talking. But the reason why we were able to develop it anyway, or why we started to mess around with it, is from there, those people started to drop off. And then I hadn't seen Jimmy in a number of years. And I bumped into his brother in like one of my local shops, and he was like, yeah, cuz I ain't seen you for time, rare. So he said, like, I'm gonna come over to your studio. So he comes over and he brings Jimmy with him, yeah. So then we're like, yo, and obviously Jimmy for me, like when I was a kid, we used to go to his yard and he used to have the S2000 there doing his thing, you get me? So we grew up around that. He had the Atari ST or whatever in his yard. So again, we grew up around all of these guys that were doing stuff back in the day. So Jimmy comes to the house now, we get to talking. He's like, what are you, man, doing? And then Shifa Dan just happened to be there at the same time. And he's like, yeah, our man wants to do this thing, man, spitting. So we was like, hey, let's form like a crew, out of this One Take Entertainment thing. And let's start putting together some quality music. And, we put out a mixtape that we sold around in the hood, didn't really blow up or nothing like that. But it wasn't about that for us. It was just about getting that sound together between us. So mixing, all of the different stuff that we do, the hip hop, the reggae, the bashment, the house and garage, the grime, whatever it was, we just do it. And we were just melding that all into a pot. So yeah, that's the story of One Take Entertainment, which is no more, but we're still working together in some capacity.
That was pretty much the same reason why I came up with the name One Take for what we do. Because we wanted people to, we hear too many studio rappers and studio artists. And we were like, how many of these people can actually deliver when they're put on the spot? And you're one of those guys that basically delivered. You've done 2 tracks, everything got delivered on point. So it's obvious, you take what you do serious and you just dealt with it. What
Thank
is
you very
your
much.
opinion on, the difference between studio rappers and rappers that are able to deliver when they are put on the spot?
Do you know what as well, right? Funny enough that you say that. Like, I don't jump into ciphers as much as I used to when I was a kid, right? When I was a kid, it was like, yeah, I got to be in every cipher. Yeah, I got to prove myself, right? And I think you can be a studio rapper and still be very talented, very good. But I just think, even as a studio rapper, basically when you're performing, because that's what both rappers have to do at the end of the day, they're going to have to perform at some time. You're doing your fans a disservice if you can't perform. That's just it. So it doesn't matter if you jump into ciphers or you only go and do set performances. That doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that the level of artistry, skill, dedication that you show when you go to do it. And that's why I think even when we watch MCs and they come, and sometimes, you get some of these kids that are just starting, or even older people that are just starting, and they're not really like amazing, but you can tell that they've got something there, yeah, right? Because they're coming and they're putting the dedication into trying to at least perform. You see what I'm trying to say? And when you haven't got that, it's kind of like soulless, dead music kind of thing, or you're just, you're just some industry plant type of dude or something like that. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, and we've seen that over the years. These industry plant dudes can slide through and pretend like, like there's an artistry behind it, and that's because, again, ultimately people want to be entertained, innit?
When we were talking off camera, you said a few words to me that has stuck in my head all this time. And those words were the truth about money. I'm interested. Explain the truth about money.
I would start by saying, yeah, most people do not know what money actually is. I mean, that's why I would start. Like, when you ask people what money is, like, they're going to tell you, oh, it's a dollar, it's a pound, or whatever. But, okay, so what is money? Like, what is money? What is it valuable? We've got plastic notes now. I was laughing the other day to my mate and saying that, like, that if the value of that money disappears, or the perceived value of that money disappears, you can't even use it to wipe your ass because it's plastic now. Right? Yeah. So it's funny, right? But most people don't understand what money is. Everyone's out here trying to get money. Yeah. But the money is controlling the people, and the money is controlled by people. Yeah. So if you're just trying to get money, it doesn't matter how much money you get when your tap or your money can become worthless at the whim of somebody else who you do not see, you cannot speak to, you cannot plead with, right? And that's why some people, they make X amount of money. They say, that guy, man, he's gone clear, he can do whatever he wants. He's above the law or whatever, or this guy's got friends in higher places or whatever. And then you just see it all come crumbling down because the people who control the money are the people who control the world, right? So I say that to say this, right, is that if you want to think about the things that, like we said, the youths them are going out doing madness on the street for, yeah, to wear a crepes or whatever. Like, I was like that. I'm trying to say to you, stealing from everywhere and whatever, robbing up the whole place, right? Robbing man them, whatever it was. But all of that's material stuff, money, right? Like we said, and it's the money that makes us think about this stuff, that we need to have it. We have to have money to even eat, to pay our bills, blah, blah, blah. But it's all just a constructed fallacy because the money itself doesn't mean anything. Yeah? Right? Now, when you ask the average person, what is money backed by, they can't answer you. They don't know what it's backed by. So you say, so why are you killing your brothers to get this thing? Why is everyone killing up themselves for their boss and all of this rubbish? For what? Bro, man got to pay my bills, man's got to eat. Rah, rah, rah. But how do we change this? How do we change this? Money's printed out of thin air, isn't it? It's printed out of thin air. That's it. Printed out of thin air by a couple of bankers with a W. Yeah, right? So that's it. They print it. They tell you it's worth something. We're all trapped in this illusion that it's worth something. Yeah. And we're killing each other over it. And they literally are using it to fund people to kill other people. And I say that last, I'll leave it like on this point because I don't want to go too far deep and I know we're running a bit over. But what I also say is that the origination of money being worthless or being not backed by anything was the American government creating lots of money out of thin air, removing the gold standard, which was what backed the value of money previous to 1971. If you want to go and look up the Bretton Woods Agreement, then you will see this. They removed the value of the money by telling you that the gold retrieval for cash was suspended. That was in 1971. Yeah, Richard Nixon. So when that happened, they then printed money out of thin air to fund the Vietnam War. So if you don't think that they're printing money out of thin air to make you fight amongst each other, just remember where the current monetary system that we have comes from. It comes from that very moment right there. Yeah. And again, like, people don't have to listen to me. As we like to say in the Bitcoin space, do your own research, innit? And then you will find out what money is and what you're actually fighting over.
Okay, so finally, is there anything that you want to promote? And also, do you want to let people know where they can find you?
You can find me on, I'll tell you what, first place you can find me is gold1ne.com. So G.O.L.D, number 1, N for November, E for echo.com. That's my website. Next place you can find me is on any social media, Twitter, I don't really use the Facebook as much, but Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, G.O.L.D or G.O.L.D1NE, right? And then the only thing that I'd like to say in terms of promotion, I'm not going to promote this because this isn't really promotion, but I'd just say study Bitcoin, innit? Study Bitcoin. You want to find out where things are going. And I don't want to hear from none of you crazy people telling me, oh, stash cash under your bed. I just told you what cash is, innit? Yeah? So if you're stashing cash under your bed, you're not escaping from this CBDC, central bank digital currencies, yeah? And this digitization of money that has been here for 55 years already with Visa and MasterCard. So stop thinking it's coming tomorrow, yeah? CBDCs have been researched for how many years? And in 2027, there will be a national rollout. You can go and look up this information, right? There will be a national rollout of these things in the UK. And the only exit is Bitcoin. So you need to study Bitcoin and understand what it is in comparison. It's not crypto. There's a big difference between what Bitcoin is and what crypto is. There's a big difference between Bitcoin and digital currencies. Yeah? And I'm going to leave it there, innit?
You don't want to promote no releases?
No, I don't need to promote nothing, man. I'm out here doing my thing, innit? Blade, thanks for bringing me through. Maybe this helps with promotion. Maybe it doesn't. If people want to discover, they will discover. Yeah? You know who I am now. And that's it. Or maybe you don't know who I am and you want to find out. But that's the point.
All right. Thank you for passing through. And that insight into Bitcoin has got me interested.
Thank you very much for bringing me through, man, and giving me the time. Big up to the OGs, man.